Hi friends, how you doing? How's your preparation going? The next exam for you, most of you, is Arabic Officer Prelims. It's a slightly different exam in the sense that the preliminary examination for this one is a little different in the format. You get two sections in it, and the dilemma for most of you is the time allocation for these sections, isn't it? It's 45 minutes, 80 questions, two sections, reasoning and quant, and you know are always in that confusion. How do I divide this 45 minutes? Now there are 2-3 approaches that you can use in this. I'm doing this towards the end when it's just a few days left for you for the exam, because we expect most of you to figure out the strategy on your own, and different things work for different people. So if you are all settled in this, I mean you are scoring well in both the sections, and overall you're good, fine, just listen to me and see if you can apply something somewhere. And if you're still struggling, or if you're still kind of trying to zero in on the optimal strategy for you, I'm just talking about taking the paper, taking this 45-minute test, then you might have something more for you in the session. What are the 2-3 things that you can do in this? The first one, the most obvious one, is simple. It's 45 minutes, just give it 22 minutes or 22.5 minutes to be precise, divide it like that. The way you take other prelims test, it is in those tests 20 minutes, 35 questions. Here it would be 22.5 minutes, 40 questions, like that, and you proceed with this. Many people try this, it works for them, and there is no real harm in going like this. You can do it. But when they have not divided the time for you like that, even I would not strongly recommend doing this. Fine. So this is not how I would have done it. I'll put it this way. So if you are still comfortable with this strategy, divide half the time like this, 22 minutes, 22 minutes, I would suggest a minor tweak in this. Fine, try this out. If it works for you, try this, try it in a couple of mocks. This is the time to take the mocks, right? A few days before the paper. Otherwise, you can revert to your original one. What you can do is that in place of giving it 22 minutes, give it 15 minutes. So section 1, whatever it is, 15 minutes, section 2, 15 minutes, and another 15 minutes for maximizing the score. You got it? Whatever section is your favorite section of the two, fine. If it's quant, say, start with quant, 15 minutes first. Stop after 15 minutes, 14, 15, 16, whatever, but around 15 minutes first for your favorite section. Then to the next section, another 15 minutes or so, 15, 16 minutes. ऐसा मत करना बीच में छोड़ दो, puzzle कर रहे हो. That is okay, एक आध मिनट ऊपर चलेगा, but roughly 15 minutes. And the last 15 minutes, now you've seen the complete paper, almost all 80 questions while browsing through it. Now last 15 minutes to maximize the score. Why is this a slightly better strategy than the previous one where you divide it into 22 minutes each? The reason is that it might happen that the first section you do, it's a favorite section, I understand, but it might still be tougher than the second section. So let's take an example. Let's say you start with quant, and quant is a little tougher. You give it 22 minutes, you do 25 questions, which otherwise is a decent attempt. You come to reasoning, you're doing it, and you realize that in 22 minutes or probably in another 2-3 minutes you would have done all 40. So what seems to appear is that reasoning is a little easier in this paper probably. थोड़ा सा आसान है quant से. So you might end up with a feeling कि अगर मैंने 2-3 मिनट quant में ज़्यादा दिए होते, reasoning में ज़्यादा दिए होते, you might end up feeling that if I had given 2-3 minutes more in reasoning, or divided the section like 20 minutes and 25 minutes or 18 minutes and 27 minutes, something like that, my overall score would have shot up. Sectional cutoffs here in this one would not matter much. They exist, but not too steep. बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होता है. Fine. So you would not miss them as long as not ignoring a section completely. आप बहुत खराब नहीं हो या आपने बहुत खराब नहीं किया. You'll not miss them, right? So what is the objective? The objective is to maximize the score. That's why I'm saying a slightly better one would be 15, 15, favorite section, the second one section, and 15 minutes to maximize the score, because now you know where to give those 15 minutes. So this is one that should definitely try out. Please do it. If it works for you, wonderful. If you feel hassled at this stage, changing the way you've been attempting the tests, go back to your previous one. This was one, fine. This is one thing that you can try out. Now, how would I have done this paper? अगर मैं दे रहा होता, how would I have taken this paper? I would have treated this paper as one test, not two tests, one test. It is one test of 45 minutes. ऐसा सोचो, if I just jumble the questions up of quant and reasoning like that, and there is no differentiator, this is quant, this is reasoning, it's all problem solving, right? It can be quadratic mixed with puzzles or with simplification and like that, it's all mixed up. बीच में mathematical inequality डाल दिया, तब क्या करते? You would have taken it like a test, 45-minute test, 80 questions. Ideally, I'm again not prescribing anything. You know what works best for you. You should try this out. Why? What is the benefit of doing this? They have given you the flexibility here. What is the objective? Maximizing the score. So this mental block that this is quant and this is reasoning is just in our minds, isn't it? उन्होंने तो time limit दिया नहीं है, तो why are we adhering to it? Even in the first approach I told you, you can distribute it like that, हो जाएगा. But even if you take this one, wherein you just take this test like one test, one full test, it'll not happen that you end up doing 40 questions of quant and 0 questions in reasoning, or 40 questions in quant or 10 in reasoning, or 35 questions in reasoning or 5 questions in quant. ऐसा होगा क्या? नहीं होगा. Because what is the objective? How do you do it? How do you do any test? You pick the easier questions first. Now these easier questions can be from quant, can be from reasoning, can be mixed from wherever. When you treat it like one test, what would you be doing? Just think about it. When you say divide it into sections, first section and then second section, you would probably pick the easier questions of quant first. Let's assume that you start with quant. You pick the easier questions of quant, the sitters, the very easy ones, then medium, and then slightly tougher ones, isn't it? Then the same thing with reasoning. Here, what would you be doing? Easier first, quant, reasoning, mixed, easier. So it means if there were 10 sitters, now it can be 15, 20 sitters. Is it not always good when you do the easier questions first in the paper? When it straight away gives you a lot of confidence, इतना सारा कर लिया. So what I would want you to do is that देखो try कर लेना, इसको try करना है अपना, मेरा काम है suggestion देना. This works for these things do work for me. I took a test like that. I think that's the best approach. That's why I'm sharing that with you. So rather than spending the first 10 minutes in easier questions of quant and then 10 minutes in easier questions of reasoning, why would you not want to give 20 minutes to all the easier questions in the paper? Just imagine 20 minutes, 35-40 attempt, all easier questions or all sitters, and then you're left with 25 minutes wherein you try to maximize the score. देखो cut off इसमें छूटना, मतलब you'll say sir, the obvious concern here in this approach would be that at times I fear I'll miss the cut off of one of the sections. No, it will not happen until unless you are very bad at one section. ऐसा हो जाता है ना, somebody might say इसमें इंग्लिश नहीं है तो जनरली ऐसा नहीं होगा. ऐसा होता है कि क्वांट रीजनिंग में कोई अच्छा है, इंग्लिश में अच्छा नहीं है, इंग्लिश में अच्छा है, क्वांट रीजनिंग में अच्छा नहीं. बट आई डोंट थिंक इट विल हैपन लाइक दिस. बट स्टिल इफ यू बिलीव दैट यू आर वेरी गुड इन रीजनिंग, यू डू ऑलमोस्ट एवरीथिंग एंड नॉट सो गुड इन क्वांट, so in that case you can take some special care. But I still find it hard to believe that somebody who does overall very well in the paper would miss out on a cutoff by using this. It is somewhere there at the back of your mind. What you can do is say it's just 5 minutes left. Just think about that. Just take it as an overall paper of 45 minutes. You're done at 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, you can always have a look at your question palette and have a broad idea. Count mat karne baithna. You'll have a broad idea as to how many you've done in each section. Now, if it's very, very skewed, you realize that you've done 35 in reasoning, just 5 questions in quant, then probably the time to give those last 5 minutes to quant, it will not happen. देखो वह तो वैसे भी एक attempt हो गया ना, इतना कम तो वैसे भी नहीं करोगे. So you will realize that by using this, you would generally end up having a balanced performance or a balanced attempt. And I don't mind if at the end of it you'll say I have done 35 in reasoning and 25 in quant. What is the problem? There is no problem. If the paper is such that you believe that 60 is a good attempt, then so be it. Why does it have to be 30-30? No, you do not get any marks for balancing the scores. The way there are no marks for accuracy, there is no marks, or there are no extra marks or bonus marks for balancing the two scores. No, it doesn't matter. So if you get a 40 in reasoning or a 25 in quant, 40 and 25, it's 65, it becomes a wonderful score. This 65 is better than somebody who says I got 30-30 in both quant and reasoning. Isn't it? It's all common sense. So what I'm saying is, treat it as one test. Do all the easier questions first. जैसे आप स्कैन करते हो in a section, just think it's a section of 80 questions, slightly longish section, but it's a section of 80 questions. जल्दी स्कैन करो, जो भी लगता है करने वाला है, whatever you believe can be done easily. बहुत सारे questions होते हैं, you can just have a look at them and can do them. Simplification आ गया, quadratic आ गया, just look at them. 5 questions 2 minutes, 5 questions 1.5 minutes, 3 minutes, कोई easy सी puzzle आ गई, जो भी आता है करते चले जाओ. First 20-25 minutes, just scan the paper, do everything. And then focus on particular question types कि हाँ ये कर लेता हूँ, वो कर लेता हूँ. Just try this out. Don't do this for the first time at the time of exam. पहले दिन अपने पेपर में ऐसा मत करना. Try this out. The first one, the way I told you, 15 minutes, and this one in which you just treat it as one test. What is the difference? Why would this not look like one test? Because the questions would be jumbled together. 40 questions of quant together and 40 questions of reasoning together. Apart from it, there is no difference. तो वो तो आपके दिमाग में ही है ना differentiation. सोचो ही मत उस तरीके से दिए हुए हैं. अगर जंबल करके देखते हो हम क्या करते हैं? 45 minutes, 80 questions. Just think of it like that. You will feel much better. और ये tension जो है ना, देखो this should be an advantage to you. Flexibility. But generally what tends to happen is it does not work for most people, or it works against you. आपको लगता है यार कैसे बैलेंस करूँ, ये ना हो जाए, वो ना हो जाए. बट सेक्शनल कट ऑफ इतना बड़ा चैलेंज नहीं है. देखो एक बार पुराने रिकॉर्ड्स उठा के देखो, बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होती है सेक्शनल कट ऑफ. तो अनलेस यू वेरी बैड यू विल नॉट मिस इट. डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. As far as the difficulty level is concerned, mocks tend to be a little higher, can be a little higher, but do not blame them for it. The actual paper can also be, higher in terms of difficulty level. The last prelims, I think quant in some slots was tougher. So it can be like that. Don't worry about isme aisa tha, waisa tha. Paper's difficulty level will not make a difference to your chances in the exam. It'll not make any difference. Just do your best in the paper. Fine. But ये सब चीज़ें ट्राई करके यू वुड बी एबल टू मैनेज एनी काइंड ऑफ इम्बैलेंस इन द पेपर. क्वांट मुश्किल था, रीजनिंग आसान था, रीजनिंग मुश्किल आ गया, क्वांट आसान आ गया, और एनी सच परमुटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन दैट हैपन्स इन द पेपर इफ यू डू इट लाइक दैट. सो वॉट एवर द स्ट्रैटेजी, इफ इट्स वर्किंग यू वंडरफुल, जस्ट ट्राई दिस आउट. बोथ द थिंग्स आई टोल्ड यू, 15 minutes, 3 parts, just divide the paper like that, or just treating it like one test of 45 minutes with 80 questions, a test of problem solving. I've forgotten if it's quantitative aptitude or reasoning. For me, it is just problem solving. 80 questions, 45 minutes. Treat it like that. 2-3 tests in each way. Fine. And then see what works for you. What seems to be working for you. What is the criteria to judge if it's working for you? Your absolute score? No. What is it? Percentile score. So a percentile of 95 is good. 99 is very, very good. 99.9 is exceptional. 90 is acceptable. 80 is not so good. Scope for improvement, like that. Don't say, I tried this, I got 45, I tried this, I got 50, so the one with which I got 50 is a better approach. No. 2-3 tests each in each way, look at percentile scores, and when you analyze them later, you will realize, अच्छा इस अप्रोच में मैंने ये वाली गलती करी, ओके इस वाली अप्रोच में आई प्रॉबेबली मिस्ड आउट ऑन दिस थिंग, और दिस अप्रोच मेड श्योर दैट आई डिड नॉट मिस आउट इन सम ईजियर क्वेश्चंस in that section in which I could not give much time. Things like that. They can be different permutations, combinations, and the paper every time would be slightly different. This paper, the next mock test, the next mock test, the one after that, and the real one. So try out different things, and then whatever seems to be working for you, just go with that on the day of the exam, right? It's not much to tell you here in terms of strategy when it comes to these things. The paper is generally easy. Question types are similar to what you see in SBI clerk, SBI PO, IBPS PO, all such exams. Not much difference. Can be a little up and down, that happens, but the way you have to attempt the paper can be a little different. तो सब चीज़ें ट्राई कर लो. आखिरी 4-5 दिन जो भी आपके पास बचे हुए हैं, whatever time it is, depends on when your actual exam is, and then go with whatever works for you. Fine. And then take a few mock tests after that. Fine. So if you believe that this second approach works for you, take a few mock tests like that. You should not be new to this when you attempt the paper there, right? You should be accustomed to just scanning the paper quickly, attempting all the easier questions first, and then the slightly tougher ones, and then the slightly higher difficulty level ones. Make sure that you are well conditioned to do this. It will not work just because I'm telling you that it will work. No, I'm just saying, figure out for yourself what's going to work for you. Different things work for different people, but yes, you have to figure that out for yourself. Okay guys, this is it. I'll call it a day. Time is precious. Don't waste it. अभी से start करो, आज ही करो, एक दिन में 2-3 चीज़ें try कर लो, and then go ahead with whatever you think will work for you, and keep working very hard. There's no other exam coming. Nothing scheduled right after this. There's still some time left for the mains and all. तो कुछ भी नहीं करना है इस एग्जाम के बारे में सोचो. The next few days should be dedicated to, for all those people who filled the form, to RRB officer prelims, right? बाकी सब भूल जाओ, ठीक से मेहनत करो, सब कुछ बहुत बढ़िया होगा. तो अपने पूरे एकदम तन मन धन से लग जाओ इसके अंदर, जो भी करना है करो, एंड जस्ट गिव इट योर वेरी बेस्ट. नॉट बी स्कैर्ड ऑफ द एग्जाम, शुड बी एक्साइटेड अबाउट द एग्जाम. कल मैच होता मेरा क्रिकेट का, तो क्या करता, परेशान होता ना, आई वुड हैव बीन हैप्पी. कल मजा आएगा. शुड बी लाइक दैट. एवरी मॉक टेस्ट शुड बी लाइक दैट. द एक्चुअल एग्जाम शुड बी लाइक दैट. एंड व्हाई यू स्कैर्ड व्हेन यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग? पढ़ रहे हो ना, मेहनत कर रहे हो ना, व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? जस्ट गो एंड डू वेरी वेल इन द एग्जाम. ऑल द बेस्ट.